Hello YouTube, and welcome to our playthrough of Dragon of Icespire Peak. Now, before you begin watching this session, please remember that this is literally my very first time running an adventure. As such, I'm a little bit slow at times, and things don't always go perfectly smooth. With that said, I really hope you enjoy watching our game. Okay, so this is going to be our third session for Dragon of Icespire Peak. And as soon as I say that, let me move the screen over. So before we jump into the session here, I'm going to do a recap on what happened the last time we played. So in the last session, we started off inside of the Dwarvish Temple, the Temple of Abathar, and you guys have woken up and started heading back to Phandalin, all three of you. And when you got to the temple gates, you could hear orcs kind of on the other side, and after a little bit of time waiting for the orcs to come through the gates, you guys had an engagement there, and the encounter went well, and you guys were able to drop all the orcs with no problem. After you defeated the orcs, Sepp did an investigation of the bodies and concluded that the reason they were there was probably because they were seeking shelter from the dragon that's been flying around. So then you guys all returned to Phandalin and visited the town master and got your payment. After that, you had visited the Stonehill Inn, and a little halfling named Quinn Hightopple came in and introduced himself, and after a bit of back and forth, he requested to join the party, and so now you guys are a group of four. All four of you headed up to Barthen's Provisions and sold some of that treasure that you'd found there in the Dwarven Temple. A little bit later, Xandro wanted to go down and visit the Lion's Shield Coster and use some of that adventuring money to get some better armor. I think you had upgraded to studded leather, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So then you'd gone back across the street to the town master to find out if he had any more jobs, because when you guys had first arrived in Phandalin, he said he had some more work, but he hadn't quite got all the I's dotted and T's crossed yet. So you'd gone back and visited him, and he had 2 more jobs for you. So then you went to bed for the night, got up the next morning, and headed straight for Umbridge Hill. And there you met a lady named Adabra, and you're tasked basically with bringing her back to the relative safety of Phandalin. However, you ran into a manicore when you were there and could tell that it was basically trying to get to this woman and have her for lunch. And Sept had successfully convinced the manicore to, go away and look for food out in the woods, which was pretty fortunate for you guys, I would say. I don't think you would have survived a combat, but who knows? So Adabra thanks you guys for shooing away the manicore and gives you a healing potion, but she just stubbornly refuses to go back to Phandalin with you. She does agree to give you guys a note to give to the town master if you buy some more potions from her in addition to the one that she gave you. Or after a little bit of talk, she finally decides, well, I'll just give you the note if you give me 10 gold instead. So you guys give her the money and she gives you a note to give to the town master. So then you guys leave the Umbridge Hill area and head on down to Nomengard. And that's where you guys are now. And when you arrived, you could see there was a canyon that you would come into. Let me go ahead and switch the scene over since we're now talking about Nomengard. And this should be a better view now because I figured out a little bit more about Roll20 and how to do the maps properly instead of slicing them up into a bunch of different pieces. But yeah, anyway, when you guys came into Nomengard, you'd seen this canyon, and it was pretty apparent that the most likely way to get in to the Nomengard area was to go through that switchback trail over here, sort of on the east side of the canyon. It looked like it might have been possible to climb up these cliffs, but, why make it any harder on yourselves than necessary? So when you were going through the corridors of Gnomengard, you talked to a couple of gnomes over in the kitchen area, and they were all very busy going about their own business. And the main thing that you got out of them was that you needed to talk to these guys named Dabbledob and Fibblestib, and you don't really know why they won't talk to you. Just they seem to be indicating that these are the people that have some sense of authority around here, and everybody else just works here. So finally, where we very last left off was you went into this side room over here, and there was a gnome driving around these little crab car things, and he excitedly told you guys, "Hey, these are cool," and then he kind of left the room, and so now your group is in this room, and this is where we're going to pick up. So there are these two crab cars in here, and you can tell by looking at them that they're, obviously designed by gnomes for gnomes, but you can fit inside them. It would be a bit like a tall person sitting inside of a compact car. It's certainly possible, maybe a little uncomfortable and cramped, but everybody in your group can certainly fit in there. So if you would like, two of you can get in the crab cars or not. It's entirely up to you. I think a couple of you had gotten in last time. I don't quite recall, but so we'll just kind of pick up from this point. What would you guys like to do?
Well, Set would like to give the car a quick, curious observation. Can I tell what it's powered by?
You can tell that it's just a gnomish invention, and as far as is it running on gasoline or electric or mechanically controlled? There isn't anything about it that would immediately reveal itself as to how it's how it's powered.
All right. Oh, by the way, we are still level 2, right?
Yes. And just kind of out of character for a second again, when this part ends, I suspect that you guys will all be back in Phandalin and you'll level up there. Just heads up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a storage compartment
Inside the cars?
Anywhere in the cars, inside or out the cars?
There's a little hatch on top of each barrel, and it kind of reveals this interior compartment that you can see, and it's pretty nice inside, actually. It's got these leather padded seats, and there's gears and levers, and they're not airtight, and there's no additional storage in there that you can tell. It's really just a single driver type of device.
Okay. I'm then going to look over and sort of wave up a Quinn. Sort of get him to come over to me, over here, while also indicating at at the crab car. So you want to have a go on that?
Yeah, that looks quite fun. I wouldn't mind taking a stroll around in there. Are you sure you're not going to jump in one?
It's probably better for someone your stature more than mine.
And Ken looks at it and realizes that it's pretty tight. He doesn't raise any more objections and sort of jumps inside. He kind of pulls the canopy down over top of himself, and he's sitting in there fiddling with the levers and the pulleys. And as he does that, I'm actually going to change out his token 1 second.
I'm just going to step back as he's doing that, just in case he presses something, a wrong button somewhere.
Yeah. Let me so this is going to represent, and I'll colorize it, make it red, so that's going to represent Ken at this point. So yeah, he's kind of fiddling around with it, and it's switching directions and kind of going around. It does actually say just that it can fit through these corridors, so I'm going to make it 1 token wide, because otherwise it's going to look odd if it's trying to go through here. But this actually does say it will go through these corridors. So I'm going to say that this is like when it's in its default position, but when it like gets into its riding position, the legs fold in underneath of it so that it can, move around the cavern. So yeah, you guys kind of see Ken through the canopy of this thing, just fumbling around, crashing into the walls a little bit here and there, but slowly getting the hang of it.
I'm just going to start chuckling to myself as he's doing that.
He kind of drives over here to the thing, and he's just looking around, trying to, get the feel of it. Anybody gonna take the other one, or?
Is the gnome who's in charge of the crab car still in the room?
No, he scuttled off after he after he saw you guys come in. He was sitting in one of the cars originally, and then had that little bit of dialogue with you guys, and then he just got up and left.
Okay. Did Sept want to take the other one?
I think I will sit in the other one.
Okay. So let me do this for you. So also, I'll just give you a token here. I'll give you control of it. I don't know that it really makes a difference, but it'll maybe help me keep track of the fact that you're inside of that, and I guess as far as your other character token, you can just either leave it behind or whatever until you guys get out of the cars. Okay, so where would you like to go from the exit point? I'm gonna say that Ken's just following you guys. So wherever you're going, he's just following you. Or Quinn, I guess I should say, not Ken.
Should we head more south ways?
Into the scary darkness?
Into the scary, scary darkness.
Yes.
All right.
I agree.
So these guys are just going to follow you, and so once you get to where you're at now, you can see further into the unknown. So let's reveal some of that. So as you stroll into that area, let me just give you you see on the floor this device that is some kind of rotating platform, and these things that you see sticking out of it here, and here in all four corners, they're crossbows. And about 6 feet up off the floor, there's some gnome sitting inside this thing and fiddling around with these contraptions. There's these levers and pedals, and she's just kind of fiddling around with it. But as soon as you guys come into the room, she kind of has this like crazed, wide-eyed look on her face, like she's not quite all there, basically. And she's just like, aha! And she starts pulling these levers and rotating these pedals. And roll initiative.
Uh-oh.
And don't forget to click on your token.
Almost forgot to click on my token.
Oh yeah, I have to bring that up here.
Let me roll initiative for her as well. Oh fuck, I forgot where I put her thing.
And Sept, if you want to roll for the other Quinn.
There she is. Dexterity +1.
By the way, you were gonna give me control over Clint, right?
I think I already did. No, I did not. My bad.
Yeah, I remember you saying that last time.
Yeah, I gave you control of his token, but then I forgot to give you control of the crab car. Let me add this one to the turn order as well. Oh, they don't put the color things on there, so we'll have to... Okay, so... Is that a 4? For his initiative?
Yeah.
Okay. And what was Oh wait,
Donabella's was 4 as well.
4. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna say then Xandro. No, Sept is in the car. So I'm gonna say that's 9. And guess we'll just delete that one off. Does it should I just leave your I guess for initiative order it doesn't matter, so I'll leave your token up so there's only one crab car. Okay, all right, so yeah, you guys come into the room and that lady just is up on top of that machine and spinning it around, and you see these crossbows and she starts attacking you. Wait, let me add her as well. Sorry, thought I had all that sorted out. Put that up there. Right.
Oh my god, I forgot they had the pointy hats. I love these guys.
So that's a 0, so it's just a 20. Okay.
We're about to get gnomes.
Oh wow, natural 20.
We really are about to get gnomes.
Fucking gnomes.
All right, so Xandro, what are you going to do at the sight of this war machine spinning around the room?
Right. Are there any like exposed sort of machine parts, like cogs or anything really that looks very machine-like?
The most exposed part of the device are the crossbows that are sticking out of each side. The rest of the machinery is kind of encased in this wooden barrel. Like you can't really see the inner workings of it. You can just see her up on top of this thing, and you can see these levers that she's pulling, and and at the base you can see some like some footwork going on.
In that case, I'm gonna run up to a crossbow and just try and break it with my rapier. Just break these crossbows.
Okay.
Lila, which is that's a hit.
That is a hit.
And 9 damage.
9 damage. Okay. Let me start keeping track of damage on this thing. 1 second. Should have brought that up a minute ago. Okay, so describe what that looks like as Xandro kind of does what he does there.
I'm just gonna charge up, run up and just like do almost like an upward swing at the crossbow. Trying to like either break it in half or just knock it loose or something.
Yeah, so as you go up to it and you hit it, you crack it really hard. It doesn't break off, but you've severely done damage to this particular part of the device.
And yeah, as I do that, I'm just gonna shout up, "The fuck you doing?"
I'm trying out this device. It's cool, isn't it? And at that, she starts spinning around, like pulls this lever, and does this like a 90-degree rotation. And so now she's speaking to you, and she just kind of engages the switch and launches the crossbow that you just kind of did massive damage to. She just kind of hits this button, launches this bow towards you. Actually, 1 second on that. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and do these rolls out in the open, which I think is kind of a DM no-no, but I'm going to do it anyway. Just because I don't want to hide what I'm doing.
That's cool. Would it get any form of penalty because I'm literally right in front of it?
Actually, that's actually something I was just actually thinking of. I'm going to have to change what she's doing because you are literally on top of it. And in order to fire a bow, you have to be some distance away. However, the machine does have multiple attacks. And I'm just going to...
I believe rules is written, you'll just get disadvantage on the attack.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay. So... Oh, wait, actually, it is just the one attack. Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry, I thought I was more prepared than this. So she does hit that lever and it tries to launch the arrow, but it's going to be the worst of 2 rolls, and I don't imagine that hits you, doesn't it?
Nope.
So that means even if I roll worse, it's still not going to hit, so there's no point in rolling twice.
Unless you want to try for a natural 1.
I could do that. Okay.
Damn. Oh well.
So yeah, she kind of turns towards you, hits the little lever that looses that crossbow towards you, but you're just too close to it. And by the time it kind of comes out, it just kind of goes up to your armor and stops and doesn't do anything.
Pathetic.
Yeah, I just look up to her and ask her, "Ma'am, there has to be an easier way to test this device without potentially murdering someone, correct?"
I can't think of a better way. She's kind of rotating this machine as she's talking. Doesn't have time to do a full rotation towards you by any means, but she's rotating it in your direction.
Can I roll insight to see if it's clear that she's just mad or?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, what? 6.
Yeah, based on what you can tell, which isn't much, she just is not quite all there, but you don't really know what's going on in her head, why she's just decided to attack anybody that walked into the room. You just are like, whatever. You're going to take a swing at her, or are you just going to disengage, or how are you going to handle it? Okay, so is the gnome who was in charge of the crab car still in the room? No, that guy went out back toward the kitchen area, so he's no longer in the room. Okay, so you're going to do a command.
Yeah.
And what is your command?
Leave.
Basically get down off the device and stop shooting at us.
Yeah, but it's only one word.
Right. Okay. What do I have to roll to defend on that?
A wisdom saving throw.
Alright. Okay. And that's a 0, so... And what do I have to beat?
Let's see. 8 plus my wisdom. Yeah, she just beats it then.
Okay.
She had to be 13.
So you utter this command, leave, and in her crazed state of mind, she's still able to resist the command. You do see her kind of flinch a little bit, hands sort of shaking on the levers a little bit, but otherwise she just ignores your command.
Oh, I gave you your chance, lady.
So then it's going to be... we'll just say that Quinn's going to go. So you can decide what he's going to do.
I guess he'll just ride up to the arrow on this side and try to rip it off with one of the claws on the machine.
Okay, so this one or the one nearest you?
Yeah, this one.
Okay, so just to let you know, the claws have it's a melee attack weapon, and it's +2 to hit. So you can roll a d20 +2.
Oh, natural 20.
Nice. So damage is going to be 2d4.
Is that plus anything?
It's just 2d4 piercing, but the target becomes grappled. So once you have, I imagine sort of the pincers on that crab car grab a hold of the arrow there, and it starts pulling away, and it's doing damage to it, and it's held in position at this point. So I'd say she probably no longer has the ability to rotate the device.
Okay.
Take a note of that damage.
Fair enough.
And then Donabella.
Donabella is then basically going to run over to Xandro, pat him on the shoulder, and cast guidance on him.
Okay.
Which basically means I can add 1d4 to a skill check. Yeah.
Okay.
Before the spell ends, the target can roll 1d4 and add the number rolls to one ability check of its choice.
Okay. Do you want to put a icon or something on your character just to remember that you have that?
Oop, there we go.
Okay. And is she going to do anything else? Probably has
That's
to stay
it.
put, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one? Shot.
All right. So Xandro.
Now, what I want to do is climb up and pull this crazed gnome out of the machine.
Okay.
So would I roll an athletics climb up, or is it? It's only 6 foot up in it, so I probably have to step up.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
for a strength to just pull her out.
1 second. I'm gonna say. Yeah, I'm gonna say go for athletics
Athletics.
because it's currently held in place. So.
Oh my fuck.
Oh no.
Never mind.
Don't you get did you get advantage on that from her guidance or?
No, I only get a 1d4. So I mean.
Okay, so at best it's a 10.
Normally. Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna say that's probably not gonna quite do it. So I'll let you describe however you fumble that up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try and climb up. My foot slips as I don't quite grab whatever there is to grab up there, like a door or a hand or whatever, and I just slip down, fall flat on my face.
Yeah.
Back down sort of cold rocks.
Yeah, basically the arrow that was pointing out of that side, you did so much damage to it last time that it was no longer like a sturdy foothold, and you just kind of lost your footing there.
Cracks under my weight.
Yeah.
I just swear under my breath.
All right, so she sees all this going on, and so her machine's currently essentially grappled, like she can't quite operate it as well as she would. So I have to ask you guys a question here. I apologize. Does it require an action for her to de-grapple herself?
Normally, yes.
Yes.
To fight against a grapple, normally be a strength check.
Okay, yeah, I thought it would. They do give information here for the grapple. I just wasn't. It just doesn't specify if it's an action or if it's just like a part of her movement. So she has to beat, and she does not. Not even close. So she's fiddling around with
How
this.
many fucking ones are there today?
Yeah.
The third one. Fucking hell.
She's fiddling around with this machine, but I imagine like what's happening is, as Quinn had come up and pincered in the crossbow, she's just so distracted by you coming up to the other side that as she's trying to switch her levers around and get this machine to move, she can't. So she's still grappled and is unable to do anything with the device. Does that sound fair to you guys?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'm just making sure because sometimes I'm not entirely confident in my own reading of some of these things. So I just don't want to. I don't want to make it overly difficult, but on the other hand, I don't want to waste her turn if I'm doing it wrong. Okay, Sept.
Yeah, I just look at her and I tell her, although I appreciate the ingenuity of the gnomes, I'm sorry, but you're just an obstacle at this point. And I cast Sacred Flame on her.
Okay, so it's actually going to be on the machine, but okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Basically, I wanted to try like heat up the machine to like force her to leave or get burnt, basically, if that's possible.
I'm going to say it's not possible because
Okay.
the way I'm reading this is these machines, they're let me just double check that I'm saying it right, but they're basically invincible to poison, psychic damage. I mean, I guess that's technically not flame damage, but I think Sacred Flame. I don't think Sacred Flame is exactly heat?
It's radiant.
Radiant.
So,
Okay. We'll see. We'll
it's
see how it
over.
rolls. Or do you have to do an attack roll for that? I think.
No, it's a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. So she. Pretty sure. Check that again.
Oh my. Okay.
Okay. So. And what does she have
One
to beat?
13 or take 1 radiant damage.
One whole damage.
And she doesn't have any bonuses, so it's so she easily uses the whatever ability she has to dodge your sacred flame, but still takes that 1 damage apparently.
Yeah.
Or did you
Yeah,
say she
no.
only takes 1 damage?
She doesn't take any damage.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, at the end of my turn, I just say to her, "Ma'am, either stop or we'll have no other choice."
So you're trying to persuade her / deceive her,
No, basically intimidate her.
intimidate. I think that would require an action though.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair then.
All right, so yeah, you guys aren't having a whole lot of luck talking her down off this thing so far, but let's see what Quinn can do.
I guess he'll just try to like pull the arm that he's latched onto off, possible.
Okay.
Do you want me to just roll another claw attack?
Yeah, that was +2 to hit. Okay,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
that
That'll be 8.
8, yeah, that misses. Let me just double check on that.
All right.
Yep, that misses. All right, so yeah, Quinn fiddles around with his levers and stuff, but perhaps he's in a tight position there and can't quite work the machinery as well as needed, so he isn't able to do anything. Donabella.
Donabella is also going to go for a Sacred Flame.
Okay.
Her spell save is also 5. No, 13.
Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, then because the lady rolled a 16, she dodges the flame.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, once again, this lady's just a little bit too quick up there. You know, she's in this elevated position perhaps, and she can maybe see what's coming better than you guys are able to prepare because she maybe has this a little bit of advantage from being up high, and it's just at least that's how we'll say it happened. And I'm guessing Donabella's gonna have to stay put.
I'm not moving her.
Yeah. Sandro.
Alright, I'm climbing up again. I want her out of this fucking machine.
All right.
That's better.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, you were able to get up there with no problem, and so you're just basically pulling her down out of the machine.
Yeah, I want her out and on the floor.
Okay. Yeah. With the 19, I'm gonna say you're able to do that. So yeah, initiative order is over, and she's just down on the floor, you know, cursing at you guys, and she starts off cursing in Gnomish, but a lot of what she's saying, except you can tell, is it's nonsense. Like even though like she's almost like this 6-year-old kid that has this emotion, and they're trying to convey that emotion, but they're unable to do it. They don't have the vocabulary to do it, and they just sort of frustratingly, you know, yell and gibberish garbage and swing her arms and all this kind of thing.
Yeah, I just look at her and I tell her, "You are lucky that we are more tolerant than most. Otherwise, you might have not got pulled out of there."
I just wanted to try my new machinery. What's wrong with that?
Next time, find some barrels. Maybe convince. What was the name of the gnome that like had these crab machines?
Oh, the one that came in the room. I did not write down his name. There's so many of these gnomes here. I'm sorry I didn't write down his name.
Tinkleflugel, probably.
No, I think it was it wasn't Panana. She stayed in the kitchen.
Yeah, I'll just tell her then. Next time, tell
Let's say up and down. I'm just gonna say it was him. Up and down.
the crab gnome to maybe like borrow one of these and use that as target practice.
Yes, but barrels don't move. Moving things move.
Yes, these crabs can move, and they're quite sturdy.
Yeah, but they only move if somebody's inside moving them.
Well, you know, I'm sure your gnomes could figure out a way to do it remotely.
Well, what do you want? Why are you here?
Well, we have a warning for your leader.
My leader? I have no leader.
Well, whoever can get the word out to the most amount of you people.
Oh, I don't know. Go talk to Fibblestib.
Alright, where's he?
She just kind of... I'm assuming she's sort of somewhat grappled by you guys or being restrained. So she kind of tilts her head and points with her hat back this way. She's kind of like tilting backwards with her hat. That way.
God, finally, someone with a proper fucking answer.
Alright. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for nothing.
I'm just gonna push her out of the way and march forward down this way.
Alright, so she's off her machine. As soon as you guys kind of start leaving, she immediately gets up to her feet and starts looking around her machinery and instantly just starts making repairs. Goes around to the part where Quinn had grappled the crossbow and starts ratcheting and, you know, getting her tool set and working around on it. All right, so
I'll do that on my way back. Carry on.
yeah, once you guys get to that corner, you can kind of see it goes down and around a bit, and I'm not going to like reveal tiny little bits and pieces one at a time. So as you circle around, you can see that the if you go down that little direction there, you can see out into the pond. And this is kind of the way you recognize that area out there, as because you saw it when you came in. You know, you could see the berries up on the pond, and you can see that this would have been potentially another way in, just would have been harder because you'd had to climb up. And you can also see further down the corridor that it goes down and around a little bit. You can't see much around the corner until you get down in there.
A fork in the road.
So as you get down into here, you can kind of see like into this room. Let me move this. I hate how I have to switch back and forth between things to scroll the map around. And then you can see into this room, like sort of like that kind of thing. Like as it gets deeper in the room, you know, the light fades a little bit.
Straight ahead. So looking back at Set.
Yeah. Sounds like a fair.
I go straight ahead.
Okay. So as you guys get into this room, let me go ahead and just reveal the whole room now that you're inside it. You'll be able to see everything with your dark vision and torch. So obviously, you know, there's a bunch of barrels in this room, and there are, as you look around on the north wall and the south wall, there are these barrels set at the alcove, and each one of them is like secured by this wooden brace that's like sitting on the ground. It's like these little cutouts where the barrels have been carefully placed. A couple of them have have already been tapped. You can see that there's these taps out of the barrel where somebody's already been accessing them basically. The rest of them are untapped, and yeah, that's all you can really see in this room.
Okay, I'm gonna go up to a tapped barrel. Are there any like cups or like containers?
There aren't any cups or containers. I guess you'd probably surmise that the gnomes, as they come in and out, they bring pitchers in and they fill them up and carry them out. But one second here, before you start investigating. What does that mean? So which one are you looking at? The tapped one?
Yes.
Okay. So just 1 second. Yeah, so as you're looking at this barrel here, this is not one of the tapped ones, but you can see that this one is. And yeah. Actually, my bad. All of them are. All of these down here are already tapped.
Okay.
So are you just gonna like try to taste it, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it into my hand and try and just sip some.
Yeah. So basically, as you open the little siphon tap there, and you kind of put some of it into your hand, you can get this like smell of herb of some sort, and if you're curious what kind it is, I would say roll. Let me see. 1 second. What would that be, like nature?
Wait, what am I checking for?
You're checking to see like what the smell is, basically.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
nature or
Yeah, I'd say probably nature.
investigation. Here it is.
Nature. Okay. Well, you get a slight, small hint of like a mushroom smell, but that's really all you can tell.
Okay, I'm gonna take a sip.
Sure.
We're gonna fucking kill me.
Just tastes like gnome wine. Whether or not it appeals to you is up to you, or you can roll to determine if it appeals to you. But it just.
I'm gonna spit it on the floor and throw the rest that's in my hand on the floor. It's fucking disgusting, this shit.
All right. So yeah. So you can tell from, just by looking at these barrels that all these barrels down here, they're all tapped, and they all have the same stuff in them, most likely. And none of the other barrels in the room are tapped.
Someone doesn't appreciate fine gnomeless wine.
You call this fine? Fucking hell.
Well, for gnomes, it's fine.
Gnomes have low standards. Well, not surprised. They're low people.
Set for the first time since me and him, he gives a chuckle. You didn't hear that.
He gives a chuckle.
Yes.
Okay.
I smile back and sort of indicate to Donabella to try some if she wants.
Yes, I think Donabella would. So she's just gonna walk over and probably do the same one you did, and just out of curiosity, like what was so terrible about it. Takes a little sip, and yeah, I'm gonna say she likes it. It's not the best wine she's ever had, but she likes it well enough. Kind of looks back at you and what's wrong with it?
Nah. Each their own.
Do you have better in the Underdark?
Oh, much better. Not that I've tasted it in a while, but it's better than this shit.
I mean, it's not
Uh,
the greatest I've ever had, but it's not so terrible as to be spitting it back out on the floor.
Right, the best wine you'll have is out on the seas.
I have to take your word for it.
I don't know, Andrew. From what I remember, mushrooms are like 90% of Underdark dishes and drinks.
Yeah, but there's different types of mushrooms, isn't there? This mushroom is absolute garbage.
Eh, I'm sure the gnomes have other things to worry about besides taste.
I'm sure I do. Firing crossbows at random people. No wonder they're doing that shit with what's in this wine.
Yeah, Donabella just kind of dismisses whatever you guys are carrying on about and just walks around. And Quinn's just sitting in his little car still. So you guys gonna stick around in this room, or
I mean, there's nothing else here for me, so I'm happy to leave whenever.
let me see, is he typing again? Let me check.
I know. I'll leave.
Okay, yeah, so Donabella and Quinn, they're just gonna follow you guys. Wherever you go, they go.
Yeah. It's in here.
Okay, once you guys get into that room, let me go ahead and reveal some things here. You're going to be able to see, get rid of some of that black stuff there. You can see here, you can see up there, and then once you kind of get down to that corner, you'll easily be able to see down around the corner a little bit. And yeah, this when you come in, one of the most prominent things you notice is two gnomes standing up on the standing up here. Oops. Here and here. So let me grab a couple tokens to put them in just to represent them guys. And I'm just going to use the same ones. Let me spin them around because they're going to be seeing you guys come in. And when you get in here, you can hear the so as you came into the canyon, you guys could see this waterfall down into the distance, and it's kind of roaring at this point. It's very loud. You can tell you're closer to it now than you have ever been. In this entire area in here, there's just water all over the walls. It's not necessarily running, but it's very wet along the walls, and the room is extremely humid. You know, like as you're passing through, there's just like vapor all over the place. You can literally put your hand up on your face and wipe your face, and it's gonna be wet. And yeah, and up on the ledge, there are these two gnomes that are standing there. And when you guys walk in, one of them, Sept, you notice they call out in Gnomish, "Who goes there?" Then immediately after that, the other one calls out, and everybody can hear this because it's in common, "Who goes there?" So they kind of both say the same thing, but the first one just announces it in Gnomish.
I say in Elvish, are either of you Fiddlestib by any chance?
And they look at each other and look back and repeat or say back to you in Gnomish, "No, I'm not Fiddlestib. Why are you looking for Fiddlestib?"
We bring warning from Fandolin.
Oh, what kind of warning?
There's been a dragon sighted in the area, and the town master over there is worried for the safety of his settlement.
And at the mention of the dragon, they both kind of look at each other and have this look of worry on their face, and immediately kind of are extremely paranoid about you guys all of a sudden. They're very suspicious of you. And they both raise wands, point them at you, and say, What are you guys? Are you shapeshifters?
Oh, are they saying this in
No.
common or gnomish?
They're speaking in Gnomish at this point because Sept is talking to them in Gnomish.
I say in common, no, we are not shapeshifters. I can assure you that.
And they're
I've got my
both
hand on my crossbow at this point, by the way.
okay, and they're both still standing there with their wands out and looking back and forth, like looking you in the eye, Sept, and looking at Donabella, looking at just everybody, and they're like, "Prove it. How do we know you're not shapeshifters?"
Do you have access to any sort of dispelling magic?
What access to magic I have is my own business. You have to prove to me that you're not a shapeshifter.
I look towards Andrew, whispered to him in Undercommon. Okay, when I say go, fake knocking me out. Okay?
I smile.
I say, alright. My friend here will knock me out, and if I'm a shifter, I'll shift into my true form.
They kind of look at each other and mumble quietly, but you can kind of overhear them saying, "They're like, would that actually work? Do you know if the shapeshifters change everything?" And they
As
kind of
a well-educated man, I can assure you that will definitely work.
they kind of come to be. They don't look convinced, but they don't necessarily look like they don't believe you either. So, whatever you're going to do, I would say go for it.
All right, I look towards Andrew and say, "Okay, go."
I punch you square in the nose, hard as I can.
I fake truck being knocked out.
I sort of
Um,
like shake my fist off, give it a small rub.
okay, I would think you'd have to take some kind of damage on that potentially. So,
It'll just be 1 plus his strength.
okay.
Which is, so yeah, 4 damage.
Oh, you're actually kind of a beefy boy, apparently.
Hell yeah.
Hey, that hurt more than I thought it would.
So yeah, you kind of go down, and I'm gonna say both of you roll deception to see if they buy it.
Right?
Ah, that should be something I'm
9.
good at. Oof.
Yeah, they are not completely amazed by your performance. You know, this isn't a Broadway play that you guys are doing here or anything. And Sep, they very much question the authenticity of your falling over there. And by this point, I'm assuming you had to have crawled out of your crab car, and we're just gonna say you had left it off to the side there. But Sept, they look at you and they believe that your punch was genuine, and so yeah, they're not so worried about you being a shapeshifter, about you guys being shapeshifters anymore. They do kind of maybe point over at Quinn and do the motion like, "Hey, you in that crab car, get out." So I'm gonna say that he gets out of his crab car and leaves it off to the side.
You want me to punch him as well? I'm sort of pointing over.
And they kind of look at each other, you know, and they're whispering back and forth, and not necessary. We're gonna say you guys probably aren't shapeshifters. We're worried about that because there's been some things happening around here, but go see Fibblestib. He'll tell you all about it. And he kind of points this direction as he's motioning.
So, yeah, I give him a nod. I look over to Donabella and say, "All right, get him up," and sort of give a wink. As to say, pretend to do cure wounds or something.
Say that again.
I look over to Donabella, and say, "All right, get him up." And
Oh,
sort
get
of wink at
upset.
her. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Donabella gets down and and I guess she's just pretending to do magic. So she's just gonna, superficially just wipe off some dust and any blood that might have sprung up on the punch. Probably wasn't terrible. And then she just kind of gives him this reassuring rub over the forehead and tells him to get up to his feet. Tells Sept to get up. We have to get going.
Yeah, Sept gets up. He's like, and he like snaps his nose back in place. You see, if I was a shapeshifter, I would have turned into my true form right there.
Yeah, and again, they're kind of darting their eyes back and forth, and well, yeah, whatever. My name's Ola, and this is Pog, and she, who is one speaking, points to the other one and says that he's Pog, and she says, I'm gonna escort you down the path a ways. And at that, she kind of disappears back this way and eventually appears over here. And you can kind of assume at least that that path back this way is connected here, where she somehow magically teleported. But most likely she just followed some path around. She walks over here by the this exit, and she says, all right, follow me. And she heads out.
As I'm heading out, I'm gonna sort of get Sep's attention and just sort of whisper, 10 gold says, bitch with the crossbows is a shapeshifter.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm gonna follow him out.
All right. So as you guys get up here to this ledge area, you notice this rope bridge that you couldn't see before, because the waterfall is just it's created this misty cloud over top of this rope bridge, and you didn't even notice that it was here before. And it's quite loud at this point. You really can't hear each other talking without like almost getting right up into somebody's ear and practically, speaking directly into their ear. So with that, she just kind of works her way across the bridge. And yeah, you guys obviously have no use of your crab cars. There's no way they could go across. And when you get all the way across, you can see like all this area, and you can see down into this room. And she walks up here, and basically when you get into this corridor, you hear these spinning sounds, and there's this column in the floor, this cylindrical column that's going all the way down into the floor, all the way up into the ceiling. And in the middle of that column, you see this large fan-looking blade thing. And the one that you can see, it's spinning, it's not super fast, but it's fast. Slow enough, though, that you can tell it's spinning counterclockwise. And as you get a little further in, you can see that there's another one of those in the room. And the other one on the other side of the room is spinning clockwise. So it's kind of like going into a park or something where they have those turnstiles, and you have to walk through the turnstiles, and one of them spins one way, one of them spins the other way. Except these turnstiles have lethal blades on them. And yeah, she just kind of stops there and looks back at you guys and says, yeah, Fibblestib, you have to go through here, and he's down the hall somewhere. And she just kind of stops.
Through there?
Yeah, right through there.
Is there an off switch that you can turn on for us? We're sort of like special guests.
By whose orders are you special guests?
The almighty master of town.
Yeah. She doesn't really buy it, but she says
Fucking nuns.
Says this like word that I don't know that either of you would necessarily completely know what she's saying, but it's just some sort of incantation. And a moment later, this hand materializes out of the middle of her chest and goes forward. It passes through the room, like it passes through here, underneath of these blades, and somewhere like over in this region, it stops, and you can't really see that to that point. But when it stops, you hear this latch switch. It's just like very mechanical sounding, this latch. And when she does that, the blades they start to stop spinning. They are slowing down at this point. You can hear the driving mechanism behind those blades, whatever it was, is now off, and now the blades are just sort of slowly spinning down. And as soon as she does that, she just immediately turns around and leaves. She's like, okay, goodbye. And she heads back to her post over where she came from.
Fascinated.
Sure.
So,
gonna...
yeah, a few seconds go by. Obviously you don't want to walk into this room while these blades are spinning. So time passes. Eventually the blades stop.
Yeah, as I stop, I'm just going to step into the room. But keeping an eye on those fans, just in case they do start off again.
So once you guys get further into the room, you can see through here, I would say. And you can now tell that lever that she switched was like over here, and it's currently in the up position. So presumably before, it was down. And your sidekicks are just following you guys into the room.
Okay. Let's head through.
Okay. And are you guys going to leave the machine on or off? Rather, are you going to flip it back on?
I'm going to leave it off.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So as you step forward further, you can see... Let me move my map. Okay. Yeah, eventually you'll get up to this point where you can kind of see down into this corridor. You'll be able to see there, here. You can see up onto this ledge. Yep. Okay. What's happening in here? So when you get into this area, you can hear two more gnomes, distinct voices, arguing back and forth about something, who knows what. One of them sounds perhaps male. The other one has maybe a higher pitched voice. Perhaps they're female. And yeah, they're just kind of yelling back and forth at each other. Let me bring some gnomes in here to represent. Oops. And when they see you guys come in, they don't pay a whole lot of attention to you. They're just so occupied in this argument that they're having with each other that they're more determined to win the battle between their own words than they are of any concern to you guys.
Excuse me.
They now know you're here. I mean, they've known you're here, but they're just so busy bickering back and forth. You hear some word in Gnomish, something about sanity ray and something about a straitjacket, but they're just jibber-jabbing back and forth. Eventually...
Seth raises an eyebrow. We bring Warden from Fandolin. We would like to speak with Fiddlestick.
And then at the mention of his name, let me make sure he's a he. Yeah. Fibblestib. I'm going to go ahead and mark him with colors. So that's Fibblestib, and this is Dabbledob. And at the mention of his name, he stops bickering finally and comes over and faces you guys. And so, what's this word that you bring?
Yes. A white dragon was spotted in the area, and uh, we were asked by the town master of Fandolin to bring warning to the settlement.
And to ask for any donations that you might be able to give the town in defense of this dragon.
Hmm. So there's a dragon, you say?
Pretty big one, yeah.
Oh, I don't know that I have much to worry about a dragon in these tight corridors.
But you see, the people of Fandolin are unprotected. So we're gonna need something a little with a little bit more firepower than just a simple wooden bow, if you get what I mean.
Well, be that as it may, we have troubles of our own in here. We have a king who is currently locked himself up, and we can't get in to see him. And my friend over here is trying to create a straitjacket. And by the way, you guys have never heard of what a straitjacket is, and so they kind of Fibblestib starts describing what this thing is. We're trying to create this. She's trying to create this jacket to just put the king inside and restrain him because he's just kind of lost his mind. We don't know what's going on with him, and I'm sorry, but my problems are bigger than yours.
Yes.
Uh-huh. That sounds
So you people,
reasonable.
so you people do have a leader then.
Of course, we have a king,
I see.
and
Well, I will say a few of your friends on the other side of the rope bridge, uh, Ula and Pog, seem to have been quite worried about shapeshifters. Do either of you two know anything about that?
yeah. So there's been some goings on in here recently, and we believe there's a mimic going around inside these corridors, and we don't know who it is. Could be anybody. Could be you. And they kind of look at you suspiciously.
I'm pretty sure those are doppelgangers, not mimics that can actually disguise themselves as people.
Are you sure? How can you
Mimics,
prove it?
I'm well versed in knowledge and lore.
Yeah, I'd take it from Mr. Brainiac.
Well, the problem is a couple of gnomes have gone missing, and we think that this creature that's terrorizing the corridors here has done something to them or taken their form. We don't know. But the king is out of his mind with concern, and he has locked up the queen. And we need to get in and restore peace of mind to the king. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is if we can get it. First of all, we have to get inside the king's bedroom, which is locked. And we really need to find this mimic because he's never going to be satisfied until this thing's gone. And my idea, he says, is this sanity ray. He kind of starts motioning to this thing that he's working on. I think that this contraption can restore sanity to the king. And at that, Dabbledob just immediately like, pah, it doesn't even work. And then he's like, it doesn't work. Of course it doesn't work because it's not done. It'll work when it's done. And she's just like, it's not going to work when it's done. You don't know what you're doing. And they just immediately start fighting again.
Alright, as hilarious as this all sounds, I don't think either of those are going to work against a doppelganger. Trust me. You need some good old sharpened steel to take care of one of those.
You're proposing we kill the king?
If he's a doppelganger, yeah, but first we have to prove it.
And then they look at you, Sep. What do you think? Do you think my sanity
it'd
ray
be-
stands a chance?
Well, I'll say the most efficient way to restore the king's sanity is to find this mimic or doppelganger, or what have you, and put a stop to it. Once it's dead for sure, hopefully the king will come to his senses.
Okay, well, the problem with the mimic is that it can be anything. It can be a door. It could be... Yeah, we don't know. How are we going to figure it out?
Oh, it's simple. Mimics are predators, and they'll eat anything they can get their tendrils on.
So
And
we feed it.
are
You guys offer to eat it or to let it eat you?
no.
Fucking no.
We try something to use as bait.
And which one of you want to be bait?
Do you have any animals around here? They're not picky eaters.
Other than you guys? Off the top of my head, I don't know of any animals that we have just lying around. We have food, we have mushrooms, we have you guys.
It'll have to be some sort of meat, I'm afraid.
Well, if we have the meat, how do we find this mimic? I mean, it could be, it could take the form of anything, and it could be sitting here in this room and we wouldn't even know it.
Well, simple. We take this meat, leave it by itself in this room, and attach some sort of string to it. A string that is light enough to not be seen very easily. If this mimic bites down onto it, the string will get pulled, and we know that it's there.
Sounds very crude. And I don't think that'll work.
Alternatively, we can get the actual person to be as bait, and they can just scream when the mimic attacks.
And when you say that, Fibblestib just starts shrieking. And then she looks around. I don't see a mimic.
No, you.
What? Fucking no, right? We're over here. You're dealing with Sept.
Alright, can we at least try to speak with your king first?
Well, you can if you can figure out how to get to him. He's locked himself away, and he has the only key to his room. And if you do get in there, he's not in the right mind to speak to anybody right now. So that's why I'm working on this sanity ray, which is a way better option than the straitjacket. He looks over to Dabbledob, and then they immediately start fighting again. Just the straitjacket is a much better solution. We can just restrain him inside this thing. No. The sanity ray, I'm telling you, it's the way to go. We point it at his temple. It beams the saneness back. That's stupid. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. It doesn't even work. And there's...
All right. Look. Just point us to the king, and we'll get it done. You can continue to fuck about with this sanity strafe ray majig. I don't care. Where's the king?
And they just look at you and point sort of this way. And as soon as, and actually what happens is Fibblestib points this way, Dabbledob points this way. And then they realize that they've done that. And then they look at each other, and then they switch. Dabbledob points this way, Fibblestib points this way. And they just go back and forth. Then they start fighting over which way it is.
Okay, so this is generally in the forward direction. Got it.
And as they're saying this to you, and they start pointing, you notice, I would say for the first time up here on this cliff, that there's this wooden pedestal up here on top of this cliff that you hadn't really noticed until they started arguing about which way it was to go to the king. And from where you're at, you can't really tell anything other than there's just some sort of wooden pedestal up there.
Hmm. Strange.
That's probably his speaky place.
Well, Septus brushes past the domes.
Yeah, fuck these guys.
Okay.
If they get my way, I'm just gonna shoulder barge past them.
Yeah, they're too busy fighting with each other. So we're going to say you can see here, and you can, when you get up to the corner, you'll be able to see like so. Okay. And then, yeah, Donabella and Quinn, they just fall and step behind you guys. And as you're leaving, you can still hear them arguing with each other about which direction the king's quarters are. All right, so as you come to this break in the corridor, so it looks like you're going to go north.
Yeah,
Right.
Yes.
makes a little sense.
Open that up. So once you get up here, you can see there's this doorway that leads kind of back the way you came, and you can probably rationalize easily enough, based on the fact that you haven't gotten very far, that the other side of this door is the top of that cliff.
Makes sense.
Okay, so as you walk up this way, when you get up here, you can see that there is a locked door.
All right.
Knock on it.
I walk up to the door, and I say in Gnomish and in the best gnome accent I can. Hello. We have some questions. We think we might have figure out where this mimic is.
And
If you could tell us where you saw it last, that will much appreciate it.
you hear some fumbling around inside. Go away, mimic!
No. We wish to kill the mimic.
I'm not unlocking this door. I'm not unlocking this door. There's gotta you could be the mimic. You could be shapeshifters. I don't know what you are.
It's every member of authority in this fucking coastline locked behind closed doors.
Look. Okay, fine. Let's say we are the mimic. Where did you saw us last?
I haven't seen the mimic. I just know that it's running around these corridors, and the only place I feel safe is locked in here behind these doors. As long as I've been locked in here, I haven't seen nor heard of any shape changers or anything like that.
If you haven't seen it, then why are you afraid of it then?
Because I know what's out there. I've been told.
Okay, who told you?
The gnomes.
Which one?
I believe it was Fibblestib or Dabbledob that has warned everybody in here that there is some sort of creature going about, and two gnomes have not been seen in quite a while.
I see. Would they know where... you know what? They probably won't.
Where
Well,
they
we
know
did
what?
Well, we did saw a storage room with a bunch of barrels.
Yeah, we keep our wine in there.
Yes, there could be plenty of objects the mimic disguise itself as in there.
I'm not doubting you. There are plenty of things around here that the mimic, the shapeshifter, could take the form of. There's crafts, there's machinery, there's these gnomes that are always building these things to make our way of life better. And maybe it could be one of those things. I don't know.
Alright, I'll tell you what. We'll find this mimic, wherever it is, kill it, and we'll bring its body back here as proof.
He pauses for a second and says, if you can prove that the mimic is dead, I will come out and see you.
I'm sure you can just crack the door itch or something.
I'll have the gnomes bring me this proof. Who are you, by the way?
I am Sent and Mon.
And why are you here? The gnomes haven't told me of any visitors.
We bring. Oh yes, almost forgot our original mission. We bring word from the town of Fandolin. A white dragon has been spotted in the area, and the town master felt it was appropriate for us to bring warning to you all.
And get donations.
I appreciate that. Yes, the gnomes do spend time outside. They do need to be warned of the dragon. Not much concern of me in here in this tight room, but yeah, the gnomes harvest mushrooms outside the waterfall, and yeah, thank you for the warning. I'll be sure that everybody gets to know about that. And then he just kind of hears some waddling away at that point, heading back to where he came from.
Looks like we have no other choice but to try to find this mimic.
Where are we looking first? You seem to know more about these things than I do.
Well, I suppose we can just tap the loose object we can find. I doubt this mimic is large enough to disguise itself as the entire cave. That'd be terrifying.
That'd be good if it were, though.
We'll already be dead. I can assure you that.
Donabella says, "Okay, could the door be the mimic?"
I stabbed the door.
It doesn't do anything.
Not that door.
Okay.
Just checking. I shout through the door.
So she sort of takes out her, actually I forget what it is that she's carrying, whatever pointy device she has, and she just starts sticking it in the wall. Like all the way around her, like as she's going, like a blind person almost, like feeling the wall. She's just kind of poking the wall as she walks back down, and Quinn just follows.
Well, guess we will do that as well.
All right, so where are you guys going to go from here?
Um,
And she starts poking this door with her pointy, just like poke, and it doesn't respond or do anything.
Yeah, I guess as we go by, Set will touch any like loose object that's not part of the wall or ceiling or floor.
Okay. All right, so yeah, you guys are just walking back out of this corridor. Which way are you going to go?
I want to head this way very quick.
Okay.
And
So yeah, you reach the door and
can I open
it's
it?
shut. Yep, you can open it. It's unlocked.
Fantastic. I'm going to open it and head towards that platform that was on here.
Okay. Yeah, when you get to the platform, you can see that on top of the wooden pedestal, which you couldn't see before because it was from your angle, you were looking up, but now you're like eye level. You can see there's a leather-bound book sitting on top of the pedestal.
Okay, I'm going to grab it, have my sword ready, just in case.
Just in case the book eats you.
Basically.
Yeah, no, the book it doesn't respond, and the pedestal that it's sitting on doesn't like spring to life or anything like that. the book is just, um, I would say, let me see, roll a investigation.
But, but
Okay, yeah.
nat 20s where they don't count. Fantastic.
Oh, still your base roll was good enough. You can tell that this is some sort of spell book that the rock gnomes around this location have, and there's there's a title written on the front of it, and it's in gnomish, but it's also written like in right below that. It's also in common, and it says Magic of Gnomengard on the title.
Okay, I'm gonna open it. I just want to have a quick flick through and see what kind of spells are in it.
Yeah, so as you flip through it, you can tell that it contains the following spells: Burning Hands, Detect Magic, Identify, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Shield, and Sleep. And if you want, I can type those in.
Cool.
All right.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
gonna quickly
type those
slip
into you
it.
guys later.
I'll quickly slip it into my bag. I'm guessing Fibble, Switch, and Double Dab. What the fuck the names are still bickering.
Yeah, they've switched bickering. They're no longer complaining about which direction it is to go to the king's corridors. They're now they're both talking about the straitjacket and why Dabbledob is trying to convince Fibblestib that it's a good idea, and Fibblestib is trying to convince Dabbledob that the straitjacket is just preposterous. They're no longer talking about the sanity ray. They're just strictly focused on this one argument.
Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna head back out, and I'm sort of just gonna like wave the book at everybody else, and just say, "Quick question: Mimics. Do they use magic to disguise?"
I'm not sure if magic's the right word, but they do have the natural ability to, as their name suggests, mimic themselves as any object that they wish. I'm not sure if that would be considered magical or just a natural ability they have.
How about you roll Arcana?
All right.
Both of us.
Sure.
Oh, 11. I
Arcana.
am not rolling too well today.
All right. Well, Xandro, believe it or not, I would say that you came here with the knowledge of mimics and a bit about them. You've learned in your travels, perhaps in the Underdark, or maybe when you come up to the surface. Somehow, you've come across mimics in the past, and you know that they're shape-shifting predators, and you know that they can alter their outward texture, and they can resemble wood, stone, or other basic materials, and they can assume the appearance of inanimate objects that they come into contact with. So doors, tables, barrels, anything along those lines. But they can't take on the form of a human or a gnome or another living creature, and complex mechanical things, they wouldn't be able to pull that off either. It has to be some sort of basic thing, blending in with the wall, blending in with the floor, that kind of thing.
Okay. Is it magic though?
You mean, does it have the ability to cast magic?
Yes. I don't think they do.
No.
Character. No.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
saying, based on what I'm reading here, no, it doesn't look like they have any magical spells.
Cool. Okay.
At least the ones you've
Yeah.
encountered, I'll say.
So I'm gonna put it.
But you know they can
In the
be
bag.
they can be pretty punchy. You know they can be pretty. You know they can hit. So it's no walk in the park. The ones that you've heard about or ran into, you know that they can be lethal creatures.
Cool. So I'm gonna put the book in my bag.
Okay.
So might come in handy. So where's the most likely place a mimic's gonna be? Where do we think?
Well, I suggest that we check the other rooms around here first before anything. Before going back to our previous step.
Okay. That's what I indicate and say lead the way.
Okay.
So that's our direction.
All right. So you can tell when you get up there that that door is locked. Let me see here. Yeah. So it basically, as you walk up there and fiddle around with the door, um, it's locked. It has a key of some sort, and you guys don't have the key.
I I do tap it.
Cut out there a bit.
I tap it.
Oh well, yeah. As you push on the door, it's securely shut and locked, and
All right.
yep.
Just checking for minutes. Okay,
Now,
not this way.
Oh yeah, the door doesn't spring to life and start
Okay.
attacking you guys.
I do want to get in there as I pull out my lockpicks that I've remembered I have.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and unlock the door.
Sure, that's gonna be. And so you have thieves' tools basically.
Yes.
So, uh, dexterity.
Just a straight dexterity roll, yeah?
Yeah.
I can just roll that, can I? Boop. 11.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, you fiddle around with it a bit. It's a bit tricky, and it seems like it's not quite giving way to your fiddling about, and maybe like right as you're maybe getting ready to give up, you hear it latch, and it opens.
Voila.
I'm not sure if stealing from these gnomes would be the best idea at the moment.
Not stealing, just investigating. For now. As I head inside.
Yeah. So as you get into this room, it is jam packed. It's like a workshop, and it contains just all kinds of cogwheels, strings, pulleys, just gears lying about. There's various tables. A bit of a mess. Definitely a very active place where the gnomes, at least some of them, you don't know who, but some of them spend a fair amount of time, and they've been in here probably recently. And yeah, as you look around, there's just twisted bits of metal, all sorts of things, and you can see a over on the table something that seems to maybe be more interesting than everything else in that it seems like it's complete or has been completed or functional, whereas a lot of the other stuff, it's like if you walk into an electronics place and there's just capacitors and resistors and diodes and all this stuff lying around, you can tell it doesn't do anything. But if you look on the table and you see like a Nintendo DS, oh well, that's completed. It's a product. So you can see on one of the tables there's this clock of some kind of an amulet, and next to it there's a pole, some sort of pole that looks also like it's these two things are placed more clearly and with more care than a lot of the other things that have just been kind of thrown about.
Okay. Um. In that case, resist my urge to look at the two awesome, valuable-looking things. I'm just gonna go around tapping all the simpler objects around the room, like any tables or even going up to like wooden cogs, poking at them with my sword.
I'll do the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. So as you go around the room, and I imagine Donabella and Quinn, they followed you guys in, and they're kind of doing the same thing, just walking around the room, picking up different things, looking at it, because it's a very curious place. It's very interesting. You know, it's almost like a Santa's workshop or something in a sense. There's just cool looking devices everywhere, but nothing that they really know how to use. And yeah, after walking around the room for a while, you realize that these two things that you noticed a little bit ago seem to be what the current projects in here are. If there's anything else in here that's being currently constructed or built, it just eludes you. You're not seeing it. It's just these two things that are sort of prominent.
Okay, giving into the temptation. I'm gonna pick one up. I'm gonna pick one up and investigate it. But you said it was a clock and an amulet, yeah?
Well, yeah, one of them, it's sort of this clockwork device of some sort. You know, it's got gears and cogs, and it's an amulet of some sort. And the other one is just it's a pole.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm gonna take a closer look at the clockwork device. See if there's anything more interesting at a closer look.
Yeah, I mean, as you look at these devices, there's nothing about them that immediately jumps out at you. Uh, you know, again, this is gnomish creation, and you know, it's a bit beyond your experience as to like what this thing could be used for. It's very neat looking, but whatever its purpose is, you're not real clear.
Okay, I'm gonna set it back down for now. Make a mental note.
You know,
Yeah, investigate
given
the
that
pool.
gnomes are, you know, magical, and you guys are aware, you know, these could be magical devices, but
Oh, we've got detect magic. Hang on. It's only a one-use thing if it's the spell book in it. Or maybe I can't even use it.
I think you can use it because out of character, what would be the ruling on that if it's in that book?
Normally, detect magic is just I detect some magic.
Oh, I could do that.
Oh, you can do it anyway. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just ritually cast detect magic.
I'm just assuming that because that book was an item that you could find, that you would be able to use it. It doesn't, at least here, it doesn't specify you can only use it if you're this or that. So,
I mean,
speaking out of
I'm
character,
pretty
of course.
sure only wizards could use a wizard spell book.
Yeah, it does specify
Yeah,
that it
normally.
contains wizards, spells, burning hands, detect magic. Okay. Anyway, Sept, you said you were going to cast detect magic.
Yeah, I'm gonna take 10 minutes to cast it.
Okay, so yeah, describe what you're doing, what you're saying, or like roughly what are we seeing? What is Donabella seeing? What is Quinn seeing?
Well, I pull out some chalk from my bag, and I begin to basically scribble a arcane uh sort of like symbol on the floor that's very complicated, and takes me a good 10 minutes. And once I'm done, I take out a candle, light that, place it in the middle, and then I basically just sort of like um I guess push the smoke from the candle, and it basically leads to whatever magical uh, objects might be within 30 feet of me, if
Okay,
any.
Yeah, yeah. And as you're doing that, the candle, the smoke that's coming off of it, sort of has these tendricle puffs of air that stream out of it, and they're, I imagine they're like tentacles, and they're working their way over, and they wrap around those two things that you guys found, the clockwork amulet. And just out of curiosity, out of character, one more time, when you cast detect magic, does it tell you what it does?
No.
Okay.
It just tells you that's magical and what school of magic, if any.
Okay, so yeah, it wraps around those two things you found, and just I apologize. I think I kind of botched the way you guys found those a little bit, but my bad. But it wrapped the candle's smoke comes off and wraps its tentacles around the clockwork amulet in that pole that you guys could see there on the table. So you're able to determine these are in fact magical items.
All right. Can I tell what school of magic?
Yeah, probably. Want to bear with me for a second while I figure that out.
Can't wait for it to be necromancy. That's gonna be great.
I'm not even a good cleric, so I'll probably be fine with it.
Yeah, I didn't think to get those things out. It's always something, it's like, get this thing ready, read this, read that, read that. Let's see. Okay, so... Alright, what I'll actually do is I'll give you the cards for these items. That's what they gave, that's what they are here for, so I will just give you the cards for these items. And until I do that, I'll tell you the clockwork amulet. It's a wondrous item. It's considered common, and
I don't know what it does. I just know the school.
Well, the way again out of character, the way the adventure's written is when you find these things, I give you these cards. So
Okay, so we know what they do out of character, but in character we are in a school.
Okay, that's fine then.
Yeah, so I'll give you copies of these cards later, but I'll read the description to you just so you have a mental note of it. Says this copper amulet contains tiny interlocking gears, and it's powered by magic from Mechanus, a plane of clockwork predictability. I'm guessing that's what you would know. The sort of the school of magic. And
divination, transmutation, maybe.
Doesn't actually say.
Possibly.
So, all right, I'll leave it at that for now for that one, because the rest of the card just gets into details about what it actually does. It is interesting that if you wouldn't know what it does then why would I give you these cards? That's weird. On the other hand, they are targeting people who've never played the game before, so maybe they're trying to make it a little bit easier.
Alright, fair enough. Yeah, I just look at the amulets and I say, yes, these are definitely magical, extra planar in origin, it would seem.
So you can help us find this mimic?
I don't know. I'll have to get myself a pearl to... Actually, maybe the king will tell us what it does. Actually, scratch that. He might not appreciate us breaking into here.
Good point. I'm going to pick up the amulet.
Yeah. Well, if I find myself a pearl at some point, I'll be able to tell you.
Okay, so you guys grabbed the pole and the amulet?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so you're going to look around this room a bit more. Done in here?
I think I'm done.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, Quinn kind of has got his attention distracted on something, and when he sees you guys go, he kind of puts it down and heads out with you. All right, so when you step up to this corridor, you can see these double doors here. they are closed, but yeah, they're closed.
I try to open them.
Are you knocking?
Sure, I'll knock.
Oh, I heard knocking. I thought maybe you were. Maybe that was just
Well, I
background.
was trying to. I said I was trying to open them, but
Okay, yeah, they're not locked, so you guys can just walk right in.
okay.
I thought
Okay,
I
I'll try
heard
opening them.
knocking on your side, so I thought you were like trying to role play knocking. So yeah, as you walk in, this is clearly some kind of throne room. This is where the king sits next to his queen, and situated atop two of the stone dies that you can see, these thrones that are just made of scrap metal. They're both identical for the most part, and they're just about gnome size, so you can clearly tell that maybe when the gnome king is holding court or deciding something, this is where he comes and it's all official. And but other than that, the room, by just glancing around, isn't terribly interesting.
Okay, is there...
So these guys follow you in.
Hmm. So there's no like items or anything around the throne.
No, the room's pretty empty. It kind of looks like an official room of some sort. I don't know if you've ever seen like the show Rain or anything, where they just have that room where the king and queen kind of sit in there, and people come in and they just pass judgment, basically, like, okay, you're innocent, you're guilty, whatever. Kind of looks like it might be one of those types of rooms.
Okay, I'm gonna go stand on the throne.
Okay, so as you get up on top of the throne, you're a couple feet higher,
I'm
and
gonna poke at both chairs as well.
you're probably ducking at this point if you're standing on top of the chair, because the ceilings in here aren't very high.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as you poke at the chair, it just, you just hear metal clashing on metal. Like your rapier is just hitting against the scrap metal of the chair, and it's just benign, just clean, but it doesn't, like, respond.
Nope, not in here. I'll hop down. Step's gonna BRB, by the way. I thought I thought I could stall for a bit more, but I can't think of anything
Oh,
else.
okay. I didn't notice him say that. Yeah, I don't have the thing open while I'm... Alright, yeah,
No,
we'll just...
can't think of anything else to do in here.
Alright, so I'm just gonna say Quinn's just kind of walking around, looking at the room, and Donnabella's doing the same, just observing. And we'll just wait for Sep to get back.
Idea spot anything?
Quinn's just looking back, and just solid rock over here. And Donnabella's doing the same. She's just poking around on the walls, and nothing back here.
We know how to hide their shit, don't they?
Yeah, we'll just wait for Sep to get back. It's so much to keep in your head.
It is.
Like, I mean, I've read this thoroughly, and then I read it again thoroughly today, since we missed our last session. But even so, I'm still like, I can't remember what this room is. I can't remember what that room is. So much to retain.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. So yeah, these guys are just kind of poking around in this room. Is there anything you want to do, Sept?
I've already poked the chairs.
I'm good then.
Okay. So you guys are just gonna head back out the way you came?
I guess so.
Okay, Donabella and Quinn are just gonna follow you guys out. Instead of moving those guys like every square along the way, I'll just wait till you get where you're going, then I'll bring them up.
I guess the next place to really go is down this way.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's where I was gonna go.
so these guys are going to catch up, and when you get to that corridor, you can see there's like a what do you call it? Not downstairs, but it's heading downwards. A slope. That's the word I'm looking for. There's a slope going down.